You've just heard Ode to Laurie, which is a single taken from Michael McGovern's new album, Thin White Road. And I'm delighted to be joined by Michael now. Hello.
Hi, delighted to be here too.
Oh, it's good to see you. And before we talk about the album more generally, tell us about Ode to Laurie that we've just heard.
Ode to Laurie is a song that's very dear to me. I've had it for about 4 or 5 years. Actually predated the first album that I made. I've just held on to it forever. Um, it's a song about Laurie Lee, the author, who you might, I guess you're aware of, considering all the books that behind you.
I am, but
Yeah,
I don't know the work that well.
yeah. Actually, that's what I just went to grab just before we started talking was this book, just so I could potentially quote from it. But I read this book in the right after the second lockdown. I think it was like when we couldn't really leave the house for the second time.
Yep.
Life was feeling a little bit grim to me, and I was just thinking maybe I won't ever actually get to travel again, or get to go these places I love. So I read this book, and Laurie Lee walks from the north to the south of Spain
Hmm.
in the early 30s. Actually, there's a deliberate misquote at the start of the song where I say 1937 because no other year actually worked syllabically. So yeah, I think it was 1932. And he walked from the north to the south of Spain just like without any real direction in mind. And eventually, like the Spanish Civil War happened, and I just found it a really compelling book. But it was less of the storyline of the book, or more the way that Laurie Lee uses like very few words to describe things. He's really a minimalist
Mhm.
author. Some paragraphs are really short. I think he just gets his point across in a sentence. What people might use a whole paragraph to do. And I just thought to myself, I really want to write something about this book. And I don't really remember really what happened. It's one of those songs that just came from somewhere. I didn't try and write it. It just happened, which is always the best way. Like I genuinely don't remember writing it. I think I come up with a little bit one night. I was at my grandparents' house and I was playing the guitar downstairs, and then I don't know where the rest of it came from. But there's a load. If anyone's interested in the book, as I walked out one midsummer morning, there's loads of lines from the song in this book, which I hope is legal. Uh,
Well, was it the lyrics that inspired you, individual lines, as you say? Was it the book as a whole, or don't you really know? Was it
I
some?
don't really know, but I've always loved Spanish culture, and the sort of scenery that all evokes. Um, I consider my music to be kind of warm music, or at least I try and make it that way. That's the sort of sounds that I gravitate towards. So I think it just came from that. Certain little paragraphs of the book, like even a line, I would find like there could be an entire song in one of his lines. So that's kind of the way it was structured. So I would say of the whole song Ode to Laurie, there's maybe 5 or 6 lines directly from the book, and I've reread the book since, and it's nice to stumble upon them because I don't remember exactly where they were.
So you had
Um,
made like little notes that this line is here. That's great. So yeah,
yeah, yeah. The one that I can remember is definitely from the book is when he arrives in Vigo in the north of Spain. He says Vigo was like a rust corroded wreck of a town. Now, that's an example of just a line that he uses that is just amazing. So that's one of the lines from our song. And I was really at a point where I was really liked the song, and it wasn't quite sparking. And a good friend of mine, Jamie Sturt, who I play with on another project, helped me get it over the line one day. And we just had this in front of us. And you know what? I really should go back into this book and try and get another few songs out of it. There's at least 3 or 4 more in there. But yeah, this is a long-winded way of explaining what that song is about.
we're going to talk about another track later on in the show, which also has literary references, which I find really interesting.
Yeah,
Um, but in terms of the sound of Ode to Laurie, you said in your kind of press release that it was influenced by Bob Dylan, but a specific Bob Dylan album.
yeah, it was Desire, which is I love that album, and that I set out to make. I tried to make a whole album that sounded like that, and it didn't really work out because some songs just don't really like gel. So, but this one was one that specifically I wanted to try and make kind of sound like it was off Desire. There's a few sounds on that album in particular that I'm meaning, and it's like there's a drum sound on it that just is. pretty insane. It's like really, really loud snare. And Emmylou Harris does the backing vocals on it, and they're like as loud as the main vocal.
Yeah.
I've just loved that. Like, it's so live. It sounds so good. I think I heard a story that they recorded it like through the night, and they would finish at 7 a.m. because that's when the cars would start to get tickets or towed outside somewhere in New York. But that, yeah, there's something about that album. It's a funny one because I wouldn't say there's like a single song on it that's amazing, but as a piece, it works incredibly well. Whenever I'm on a train or going through Spain, or it's a nice day, like I just want to listen to that and watch fields go by. So this is kind of what we're going for with Laurie. So the guy Cal Rodden, the mix engineer on the album, is getting frustrated at me because every time he gave me a mix back, I said, "Turn the snare up. Let's get the snare louder." But I think we like all things, we set out to make it sound like that, and then it takes its own path. Yeah. It doesn't sound like it's off that album at all. Like, it's far too hard to do. But the influence is there somewhere.
I agree with you, by the way, with that album. It's not got any big hits up front, but as an album, it really works well as a collection of songs.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even some of the songs are like even like Isis, I don't particularly love, but there's an amazing live version of it which I prefer. Hurricane, I guess, would be the big one. But yeah, it's just one of those ones, like, you just need to just listen to the whole thing, you know.
Absolutely. And what can people expect from the rest of your album? I mean, is there themes going through it? Is there a kind of sound that kind of runs through it? What would you say?
Do you know what? Ode to Laurie is quite a good example of like the whole album in one song, and that was part of the reason why we put this one out as a single, because it's got like the bigger parts on it with band, and it's got you know this bigger arrangement. It's also got more delicate acoustic parts like through the song. That's kind of the theme of the album. Like, it's definitely more bandy, more upbeat than something that I've done before, and that's what we set out to do, to make a bigger sound than the first record we did. But there's delicate moments on it, acoustic things, and then it kind of starts out big. In the middle of the album, starts to take you back down again, and then at the end, the second last track sort of throws a brick in your face. So that was the plan. It takes you on a mini journey.
And in terms of track listing the album, then did that come easily, or did you have this idea of a journey, if you like?
Before we did the album, we actually didn't have all the tracks. The other day, actually, I was looking back through some things that I wrote down while I was in the studio, and there were still spaces like piano track, ? Bigger song. Right. So actually, some of the songs weren't finished, and a few we kind of wrote up there. Some were wrote after we recorded the album, which I can try and explain after. But I really love putting songs together. I took great pride in making the track list. Like some real thought went into it about how this is going to work thematically. I think we always wanted to come out big. I'm happy with how it flows. I've listened to it more times than I care to say, and now it's not even out of enjoyment anymore. It's like it's amazing. I was saying the other day to someone, it's amazing how many times you listen to your own song. Like, by the time it's out, I probably won't listen to it. Maybe once or twice you listen to it as if you're someone else. What are they going to think about it? But hopefully it flows. It flows to my ear anyway.
And you've said "we" a few times now. Who else is involved in the album?
Oh yeah, No Man is an Island, I guess. Yeah, there's a lot of good friends of mine are involved in this, which was really cool for me to do. So a good friend of mine that I've known since I was about 3 years old, Callum Little, plays the drums on this, which was nice. Is like a real constant through my life, and we understand each other in a way that only 25 years can do. Do you know what I mean? And then we have some people you might know. Scots Whay Hae is a co-writer on a few songs. Josie Duncan, Niamh Corky are both singing on it. We also have Ali Kaplan of the Langan Band plays strings on the album. So Ode to Laurie, he does the I think it was a viola he played, potentially, or a violin. A good friend of mine, Jamie Sturt, who I mentioned earlier. Bill Shanley's a guitarist from Ireland. Amazing guys. Sort of been a real mentor to me for the last 5 or 6 years of my life. And James Steele, or Jimmy Steele, sax player, he plays with the Vintage Explosion now, would be his main act. So that's the sort of core band, and I'm terrified that I've not mentioned someone there. No, I think that is definitely everybody. I'm really bad at that, and it's not deliberate. It's just so. Yeah, those guys. It's a collaboration. I really like it. In the studio, it's like an open space for ideas. You know, Josie and Neve in particular might go into the booth and say, "Look, can we just have a bit of free reign with this for vocals?" And it always turns out well. So yeah, it's important to maybe work with people that are so close to me, I suppose.
Yeah, because I know that you've played with a lot of these people live and played in their gigs, and are often together.
Yeah, it's a sort of scratch your back, you scratch mine sort of thing. A lot of the times, given the nature of the industry, there's no promise of getting paid. And even on this album, we got funding in the end to make this album, but before we did, everybody agreed to do it with,
Yeah.
out in kind, which is like really, really something that's special. So that, yeah, and I do the same for them, and it's like when I don't know, everyone understands it who's in the industry. When you get paid, great, amazing, but sometimes you're just helping out people that you care about. So there, it really felt like a really close knit experience while we were at the studio.
And in terms of your own songwriting, though, I always think if you certainly on the tracks that we're playing today and on other ones that I've heard of yours, a kind of storytelling element, is that something that's important to you?
Yeah, I think I like to inhabit other people's stories in a way. It's not something that I potentially like set out to do with any great intention involved. It's just something that kind of happens. I almost see my life as being a little bit too mundane and boring to write about. So I make things up, or maybe I'm like Ode to Laurie or some other songs in the album. I'm reading a book where something is in the back of my brain. There's loads of songs like that on this record. I don't know if one song in particular is from personal experience, really. You lift things from here and there. But yeah, there's just, I guess it's following in a line of storytelling songwriters. Like, everyone that I respect just about writes songs like that. I'm thinking specifically of Bruce Springsteen, probably, because he's one that really uses characters in his songs. But
Yeah.
I suppose Dylan, in a way, is slightly abstract with his stories a little bit. But yeah, it's not something that's intentional, but it's just something that seems to happen. It's a way of working that I must feel comfortable with, I suppose.
Yeah. And do you feel almost like you're a sponge for picking up, whether it's ideas or lines or themes or what they might be, and then you can think, oh yeah, there's a song in that.
Yeah, definitely. I could be better at it. Like, I don't engage that part of my brain as much as I should. Like anybody these days, there's so many distractions and screens that my mind wanders way more than I would like it to. But yeah, if I'm in the right place, something might just tickle me, and the song will happen. Most of the songs that I consider to be really good ones of mine have just happened like that. One of the songs from the album, Evelyn actually wrote in this seat that I'm sitting in right now, and it just happened like really quickly. I had a weird dream one night where someone was playing a song to me, and it sounded, I'd never heard it before, and I woke up at 8 a.m. and I've got like a voice note of this little tune. I was singing it in the voice note, and then I decided it was rubbish. So I sat in this chair and just started playing something else, and then that song came out. So
Right.
it must have been somewhere. So yeah, and that one's not from personal experience at all. I think that kind of came from a story or something that I'd taken in. So yeah, that's it seems to be the way I work, but whether it will remain like that, who knows?
And let's talk a little bit about the track we're going to hear in a moment, which is the
Yep.
title track, Thin White Road. And as I mentioned, that's got kind of some literary influences as well.
It has, yeah. Thin White Road's an interesting one. There's a bit of T.S. Eliot lines in there. It's a little bit of a patchwork. Again, legality of this, I'm not sure. I had looked up T.S. Eliot, The Wasteland copyright, and I was doing it, and it said wasn't copyrighted in the US, but was in the UK, so I just sort of ignored that. There's a couple of lines in the middle of that song. It's that reference that I was reading The Wasteland and another poem called What the Thunder Said. It actually might just be a subsection of The Wasteland. I can't remember. But I'm sure you're aware of that, like an amazing poem that's and I was thinking about how Bob Dylan sort of took it with Desolation Row and made his own thing with it and made it arguably better, like, or more, more accessible. And I was just writing this tune, like the melody of that song to me sounded a bit like kind of desolate or something. I was writing it with Scott C. Park, and we were going over it thinking this kind of sounds like we're driving through some sort of desolate landscape and everything's going wrong and there's pieces of cars on fire going past us and all that stuff. So we just really try to tap into that imagery, and we had The Wasteland and we were kind of looking at that for inspiration. That song's just how about I kind of feel a little bit dissatisfied with things around me. So it's like sort of a slightly angry song, but it's got this almost jubilant element to it as well, which I enjoy. But that one's it's great fun to play actually.
And was it always going to be the title track? I don't think I've ever asked this before, but when you choose what the title track of an album from a song, is it because the title stands out, or is it because it's your favorite track, or what makes it be?
No, none of the above. Absolute nightmare with the title track. Scott also made the artwork for this album, and I did not have a title for him, and I was driving him absolutely crazy. He needed to get the vinyls finished a couple of months ago. Like, I still didn't have a title, I think, in June, and I was going over so many things in my head. And we had two other titles that got thrown away. And then we were going mad, and we ended up just saying, "Is there a song on this that works as a title?" And we went, "Well, Thin White Road kind of works." And we went, "Okay, go with that." And that was it. That was how the decision was made.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I was reading back through your emails to me, and it was mentioning here's the new single from the album, here's the new single from the album. Going, there's no mention of what the album's called, but that
Yeah,
would be right.
that's why I actually need to write a press thing today, because I realized that one that I put out has like an old name that I was going to call it. That's on me, just being a bit loose.
It was only by going to your website that I went, oh, it does good. I just thought I'd missed that, but that explains it. That explains
We
it.
had a nightmare, and you know what? Right after, about a week after we came up with that title, I came across a title that I thought was the one, and I was too scared to tell him. But I'm going to keep it. The next one, I won't even say what it is right now, but the next one will be called that. I've got it in my head. But I'm happy. I'm not complaining. I'm happy with it.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that Thin White Road's a great track to play live. What about playing live? And as I say, this is going out first week in October. And I know you've got a sizable tour in October.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Canada doing this tour called Home Roots, which I did last year in Ontario, and this time I'm going to be in Manitoba, which I'm slightly scared about at this point because it's really far out. But it's a really good tour run by a guy called Leonard Podolak. He's a musician himself. He's in a band called the Ducks, a Canadian band. They're really good, and it's a great thing. It's like house concerts over the course of 2 weeks. You're just in a car on your own driving across Canadian wilderness and playing in houses or cafes or small theaters sometimes, and it's really cool. They've been going for about 20 years.
Oh wow!
So they've built this sort of reputation up now where the artists don't really need to worry too much about promo or selling tickets. The reputation's there. People just come to the shows. So it's a really good situation. We'll be out there on my own, so we'll see. Some of these songs maybe won't work. Thin White Road is actually really hard to play on my own. I have not figured it out yet. I've tried it a couple of times. I just can't quite get it. It's like really good with a band, and as soon as you try and strip it back, I don't know. There's a few songs like that really irritating. But I'm desperate to try it on this tour. With a band, that song just really is fun. It's just we keep it going for ages actually, but it's just one thing I set out to do in this album was to explore my high vocal range a bit more.
Okay.
The first album was really low, mainly because I was recording it at home, and it was like during the first lockdown, and I was trying not to annoy people. Genuinely, that's why. So there's a few songs that were pitched way down just so I could sing at night time. So in this one, there's like big high notes, which is fun to do.
I haven't seen you play live a few times. It's something that you clearly love doing. You know,
Mm.
so I mean, is that playing live as important as the recorded side of things?
Yeah, that's what I want to do a lot more now is get get out there and play, whether it's solo or with a band or something. It's just like I really live and breathe it, to be honest, Alistair. Like it's really everything to me. Um, the recorded side and whatever, but yeah, playing in front of people really can't be beat. Luckily, I've got a few gigs this month, and um, like I grew up the last 10 years playing in pubs and bars, so um, as much as that like served me well and it made me a better musician, it's good now to play my own songs in quieter rooms.
Yeah, I think you can tell how much you love it. It comes over in the performances, and also again, often playing with friends, which just brings its own warmth too.
Yeah, they sort of poke fun at me because I'm always trying to downsize the band. Last year we had a gig that was nine people, and then we had one this year, and I said, look, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna do no offense to the ones who haven't been chosen, but I'm just gonna do it as four, and that's what we're gonna do. And then it turned out being 11, I think, in the end. I just can't say no to people. Like, yeah, sure, violin, the saxophone would sound good. Yeah, why not? Just have it all.
100%.
Uh, but yeah, it's a good laugh. It's a lot to pull off, and it does
Mm.
stress me a lot. But it's it's so much fun. It's too much fun, actually. Do you know what I mean? Like you go back to doing other things, and you just think, how am I going to move on from this?
Yeah, I know. I get that. I do.
Yeah,
Michael, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me. All the best with the album and with the gigs as well.
no problem at all. Thank you very much for having me.
And this is Michael McGovern and Thin White Road.